What is going on, guys? I would like to wish you guys a happy new year. This is the first video of 2017, and I thought I would kick it off with a pretty fun throwback video, kind of a look back, then and now for Destiny. This is within the first couple months of Destiny, and I found it only fitting to upload it early in 2017, with us being the year that Destiny 2 will come out. This game has been out for a couple years now, and I can honestly say it's really influenced my life in a way that, like, I pretty much dedicated hundreds of hours to this game, and this was really the start of all that. This is how much this game really entertained me, and entertained a lot of people back then. This was right before the original Vault of Glass was coming out, and everyone was trying to grind and level up. And this was when there was a real grind. Like, I'm sorry, but nowadays people coming into Destiny, you guys got this shit super easy, because you guys got the buffs that you can buy to boost your character all the way up to level 25. The missions were made super easy now, so you can actually power level with extra XP boosters in just a couple hours. But I mean, this was one of those that you would have to spend a few hours a day just farming for materials. So before I got a girlfriend back there laying down watching 16 and Pregnant, she's binge watching Hulu all day. This is really when Destiny was pretty much all I did outside of school. And it's just fun to look back. I felt like it's the proper time to do this video. We're all in the tower prepping to go farm helium filaments on the moon. And this was back when every upgrade on your weapon, especially exotics and legendaries, took 16 materials each. You couldn't go over to the quartermaster for the Vanguard and buy materials. There was no worm spore. You look at just the overall animations for helium filaments and stuff. I mean, this was bare bones Destiny. This was the pioneer days for this game. And the whole point of this video is, you know, it's a fun way to look back, but it's also what we can look forward to in the upcoming Destiny 2 game, and even more into the last few months of this game, because I know that for a lot of people this game really changed how they viewed video games in terms of FPSs and how they played on console. I know that Destiny, before Destiny, no one ever really would have thought of a game like this to really take over as much as it did. And you know, from a lot of the people I know in the community, I mean, they pretty much play this solely. You know, they play other games, but this really became the primary time consumer that they spent dedicating hours and hours to. And you look at it, and we all got the yellow numbers on our light level. We're running around. You look at the intellect, discipline, and strength, and there's no little widgets where it's like you have all 5 of the rungs filled up. It's you could max out your intellect up to 500, or your discipline to 500, or you could split roll it. But everyone was concerned about defense, and you looked at the original power of the Shingen, right? And then you had to upgrade it to a new attack level. And you look at everything now, and it's a nice, smooth, even 400. But it took a long time to get here, and it's kind of fun just to look back. I mean, look at the overall interface. It just looks different. I mean, compared to the Destiny we know now, it just looks bare. And I just thought it would be fun to upload this, because this is kind of a nice look back. I mean, it was confusing. Like, looking at it now, it seems so simplistic, but back then it was confusing as hell, right? This is when we all didn't know what the hell to expect with the Vault of Glass. Nightfalls were a pain in the ass. Nowadays you have arc burns. I mean, your primary weapons, legendaries, or not legendaries, well, yeah, legendaries, but the ones from the raid or trials, or the ones that had primary damage burn. This was back when elemental damage on primaries was cool. This was before the messenger, right? Some of the craziest metas that we've experienced in the game came after this. This was in the era of the Suros regime with the slow rate of fire, and then the Shingen. You know, auto rifles were king, and we've never really seen that recuperate. I think it was fusion rifles at the time. Like, Pocket Infinity was huge. A couple different fusion rifles that would really just dominate PvP, and it was a really fun time. I mean, this was the kind of time when people, like, you know, I can't really say where the big YouTubers were back then, but it was kind of the time where people were either playing PvP all the time or PvE all the time, because everyone was excited about this game, and everyone was probably putting in 2, 3, 4 hours a day on this game because it was that addicting. And I think this gaming community with Bungie, and especially with Destiny, is one of the more unique ones in the fact that we have changed this game a lot. Just looking back at the interface that you see in the tower now, and ideas like the kiosks, and sparrows, more detailed sparrows, not having to save all your shaders in your vault or on your characters because you can't delete them and you can't earn them back, having clear engrams. Like, there are so many things that I don't even remember at this point. Not having legendary marks as opposed to Vanguard and Crucible marks. I mean, all of this was just different, but it was different in a cool way. You know, this was back in the day when patrols were the fun thing to do, and everyone was grinding for that top Grimoire score. And I'm in the Grandmasters of Grimoire score on Bungie's forums, and it's fun to look back at that. But that was when the grind was real, when you had to kill 250 ogres or 250 hydra, and everyone knew the cheese spot, and those were the cool videos back then. And we were doing lore videos, and it was just a different time. I mean, I got a green ship, a green sparrow at that time. I don't think anyone had any legendary anything, so it was like that was the cool part, right? That was the cool thing, to try to see who could get all legendary and exotic armor. I think the top light level was 29. You needed all raid gear to get level 30. No one knew that yet. Everyone knew that level 30 was the max light level, but we didn't know how we would obtain it, and we had a feeling that it would be tied to the raid. But it was just cool to look back on it. You know, I think looking at this, it gives us a lot of inspiration. I mean, Jesus, look at that. Ascendant materials. Look at the bounties. You can only have so many bounties, and the missions, like everything has changed. This was back when each character had their own armor material, and they weren't all infused into one. I mean, when you look at how inconvenient, like if you had to go back and play this, right? Say in Destiny 2 they introduced a style similar to this, you'd feel like you were playing in the Stone Age. I mean, it really is one of those, we were constantly arguing about vault space, or asking Bungie to give us more vault space. We were constantly asking for so many improvements. Why do we need so many materials? Why can't we buy them in the tower? Like all the things that we bitched and moaned about and fought desperately for we got. And it's kind of cool to see where we're going with Destiny 2, because we really don't know. You know, I'm a big proponent of still wanting to have vault space increase, or at least the kiosks used better, in terms of, you know, being able to keep like old raid gear, stuff that I played hours for that I still held on to, that I don't want to give up. But just looking at even the animations on some of these materials, I mean, just look how basic they look. You know, I have 3 helium filaments because I've been constantly upgrading gear, and it's like you used to spend, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 hours just farming on Mars to get the relic iron, right? And then you infuse 1 piece of armor, and the next legendary you got, you'd have to hope that it wasn't relic iron, because you didn't want to go farm that again. And the videos were of the loot cave. This was around the time the loot cave came out, if not right before, when all you could do is just go sit there and kill for hours. And that's something that will go down in the annals of Destiny history as like one of the funnest things to do, is sit there and, you know, if you'd have other groups come up, it'd be the war of attrition, who could sit there the longest before a group left, or you could have 5 or 6 people farming at once. It was a different time. It was a fun time. All we really knew was the basic story with the speaker, the traveler, the stranger. The lore had not been nearly as expanded on it as it has been now. And even looking at the armor, right, you know, we didn't have customizable ghosts. Our armor was very basic. I look at it now, and like the Dawning armor, this is the last day of the Dawning, so to put that in perspective, you look at the Dawning armor and how freaking sweet that looks, and you look at my character looks nasty as hell. He looks goofy as hell. This was just a fun time. I think this was, you know, really before we learned a lot about what we could do in this game, before Titan skating or any sort of cheese to the game. It was just a straight up grind, you know, trying to find the best way to collect materials on planets. But at this point I've been kind of ranting on. I just wanted to say Happy New Year's to you guys. This is kind of a throwback. I just kind of wanted to do a little voiceover of this, because this really brings back some fond memories, and I'm sure it does for other people who have been around. I've been around since the original beta. That was when my character was a warlock, and I decided to go with a Titan on a whim. And, you know, having all 3 now, it's pretty fun, but realizing back then how different they all played, it's just something that you can't really process. You know, running through on missions on planets now is something like pretty much non-existent, because you can buy all the materials that you need and all the XP you can use motes of lights. I mean, it's just a different time. Everything was so rudimentary, and it's kind of cool knowing that we contributed to all that. All of our hard effort towards that has really paid off. But anyways, the video is coming to an end. I just wanted to throw out this video, say Happy New Year's to you guys, Happy Holidays, hope everything is going well. Gonna start uploading some more relevant stuff to more current Destiny stuff and kind of go from there. But what would you guys like to see in the future of Destiny, whether it's at the end of this life cycle of this game or it's into Destiny 2? Like, what other crazy changes do you think we'll see? So enjoy the rest of your evening, stay focused, stay humble, stay driven. If you guys like the channel, check out more videos. I do a lot of Destiny stuff. And other than that, you guys have a great evening, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.